everyone, it's Ms. Spencer. Today we're going to be finding volume by using unit cubes. Make sure to check out part 1 of finding volume using unit cubes before watching this video. Here we have a rectangular prism. We're going to be using the length, width, and height to find the total number of cubes used to fill the space inside this rectangular prism. Our length is 5 units. We know this because we can count 5 units across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. Our width is 2 units because there's 2 units going back. 1, 2. Our height is 3 units because we can see that there's 3 units going up and down. 1, 2, 3. We can also see that there's 3 layers. This first layer on the bottom, the second layer in the middle, and this third layer on top. So our height is 3 units, or there are 3 layers to this rectangular prism. We're going to now create this rectangular prism using unit cubes and count the total number of unit cubes we use to figure out the volume of this rectangular prism. So here you can see I've written the dimensions of our rectangular prism. Our length is 5 units, our width is 2 units, and our height is 3 units. So we're going to create this rectangular prism using unit cubes. This here is 1 unit cube. Our length is 5 units. So I'm going to put 5 unit cubes going across to create our length. All right, now we're going to include the width, which is 2 units. So we need to put a total of 2 units going back. Here you can see we have our rectangular prism. Our length is 5 units across, and our width is 2 units back. If we were finding the area, we could count the total number of unit cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 unit cubes, or we could multiply our length times our width. Our length is 5 units, and we'd multiply that by 2 units to get 10 units squared, which is represented here. But remember, our rectangular prism has a height of 3 units. Right now, our height's only 1 unit. So we're going to add 2 more units to each of these unit cubes to create a total height of 3 units. So you can see now we've created our rectangular prism with a length of 5 units going across. Our width is 2 units going back, and our height is 3 units. So now we can find the total number of unit cubes used to create this rectangular prism. On our top layer, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which is the same as when we multiplied 5 units by 2 units to get 10 units. But that's just for the top layer. Notice we have a middle layer and a bottom layer. We have 2 more layers. So each layer has a total of 10 units. So that means that on our top layer, there's 10 units. On our middle layer, there's 10 more units, so that's 20 units. And in our bottom layer, there's 30 units. So our total number of unit cubes used is 30 units. So now we're going to use our simulator to try to find the total number of cubes for the same rectangular prism. Our width in our rectangular prism is 2 units, so we need to go to the Customize tool, which is up here at the wheel, and we're going to change the width to 2 units. The length, or depth in this program, is 5 units, so we're going to change that to 5 units. The height is 3 units, so we're going to change that to 3 units and press OK. You can see that our rectangular prism has changed. To lift up the sides, you click on each of the sides you want to lift up. If you accidentally lift up too many sides and close the box, well, this will make it hard to see how many unit cubes fit inside. You can always open it by clicking each of the slots that you want to open or each of the sides. So now that we can see inside our box, this gray being the bottom of our rectangular prism, we're going to go ahead and put unit cubes inside. We can click cube on the left to create cubes inside of our rectangular prism. This program will help us keep track by putting the number of cubes we've used over here. So if we've used 1 cube, 2 cubes, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 unit cubes on our bottom layer. And remember, we said when we multiplied the length times width, or in this program, the length times the depth, 2 times 5, that equals 10, which is the total number of unit cubes on our bottom layer or our base. Here, our height is 3. Well, right now, we only have a height of 1. There's only 1 unit cube going up. We need to add 2 more layers. So we can either keep using the unit cube button, but that might take a while. We can go ahead and use the layer button to add a whole nother layer. Notice with one click, we added 10 more unit cubes to our rectangular prism. We now have 2 layers. But remember, we don't want 2 layers, we want 3 layers. So we're going to add a whole nother layer. We just added a third layer of 10 cubes. So remember, each layer has 10 cubes. We have 3 layers, so that's 10 plus 10, which is 20, plus the bottom layer of 10, which is 30 unit cubes. So we're going to go over here, and we're going to take 30 unit cubes, and we're going to check our answer. And we're correct. If you want to close the box, you can click each of the sides to close them up. To move to the next problem, you can go ahead and press the fast forward button here. All right, we're going to do 2 more problems, but this time we're only going to be using the simulator. We have our rectangular prism here. We're going to first find the length, width, and height in order to figure out how many total number of unit cubes are needed to fill this rectangular prism. The length is 4 units. We can count 1, 2, 3, 4 units across. Our width is 3 units. 1, 2, 3 units going back. And our height is 2 units. 1, 2. We can also see there's 2 layers, this bottom layer and this top layer. So we're going to use these dimensions in order to create this rectangular prism using the simulator. We're going to go over here to our simulator. We know that our length here is width here is 3 units. So we're going to go up to our wheel to customize. Our width is 3 units. Our length is 4 units. And remember, in this program, length means depth. And then our height is 2 units. So now we have the dimensions for our rectangular prism. We're going to build the sides up. If you accidentally put too many sides up and can't see it, that's okay. Just click the sides again to put them back down. We're going to use the cube button on the left to figure out how many cubes are needed for that bottom layer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cubic units or unit cubes. So 12 cubes fill our bottom layer. But remember, we have a height of 2. So we don't need 1 layer, we need 2 layers. Before we add that second layer, let's take a look at the total number of cubes on the bottom. We counted 12 cubes. We can see 12 cubes were used here. If we look here, our width is 3 unit cubes and our depth or length is 4. When we multiply 3 unit cubes by 4 unit cubes, we get 12 unit cubes, which is the same number of unit cubes that are on the bottom. So multiplying the length and width can help us figure out the total number of unit cubes used on each layer. Well, now that we know that there's 12 unit cubes on each layer and we need 2 layers, we know when we add another layer by using the layer button, we're adding 12 more cubes. Notice here on the left, it says that 12 cubes have been used along with 1 layer. 1 layer, we had already said, is 12 cubes. So we need to see that the bottom layer is filled with 12 cubes and the top layer is filled with 12 cubes. So 2 layers, each with 12 cubes, 12 plus 12 is 24 cubes. So our answer is 24 cubes. Remember, even though we can't physically see all 24 cubes right now, we know that there's still 12 on the bottom and 12 on the top, even though we can't see all the bottom cubes. All right, we're going to do one more problem together. Here's our rectangular prism. We're first going to find the length, width, and height in order to find the total number of cubes used. Our length is 2 units because there's 2 units going across. Our width is 4 units because there's 4 units going back. Our height is also 4 units because there's 4 units going up and down. That also means that there's 4 layers. We have one bottom layer, one top layer, and 2 layers in the middle. We're going to use the simulator to find out how many total cubes are needed to create this rectangular prism. Remember, go up here to the customized wheel tool in order to create the rectangular prism you're looking for. The width is 4 units, the length is 2 units, and the height is 4 units. So I've created my dimensions and I'm pressing OK. I'm going to fold up my sides. If you fold up too many sides, that's okay. Just click the side again and it'll go back down. We're going to find out the total number of cubes needed for that bottom layer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cubes are needed for that bottom layer. We also can see that if we multiply the length and width, which is 4 times 2, we also get 8. So multiplying the length and the width help us figure out the total number of cubes for that bottom layer. But remember, we don't want to know how many cubes are on the bottom layer. We need to know how many cubes are in the entire rectangular prism. There's a total of 4 layers in our rectangular prism. We've only shown one. On our bottom layer, there's 8 cubes. So let's add another layer. So even though we can't see the cubes on the bottom layer, we know they're still there. There's 8 cubes on the bottom, and there's 8 cubes on the second layer. 8 plus 8 is 16. So we've used a total of 16 cubes. We're going to add another layer, and we've added 8 more cubes by doing that. So we had 16 cubes. We added 8 more cubes. We now have 24 cubes. We can also see that that's 8, 8, 8. So 3 groups of 8 cubes is 24. But we don't need 3 layers, we need 4 layers. We're going to add one more layer. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of cubes. And we can see that that's 1, 2, 3, 4 units high. Each layer has 8 cubes. So that's 8, 8, 8, and 8. We have 4 groups of 8 cubes. 8 plus 8 is 16, plus another 8 is 24, plus a bottom layer of 8 is 32. So our total number of cubes used is 32.